I was in the U.S. Army. I started out as a private, E1, lowest rank in the Army, and worked my way up to 06 Colonel. I actually, my total career spanned 33 years, 11 months, and 7 days, but my active duty was only about 26 years.
I served in the United States Coast Guard Reserve. I was a Chief Petty Officer, Maritime Enforcement Specialist. I served from 2004 to 2016.
I still like the missions that we pulled out in the foothills of the Himalayas, where we were feeding hungry people. Made me feel great. And I'll tell you what, those little Afghan kids just tear your heart out. It's just amazing that they have such a good outlook and so happy and so well behaved. It's just incredible. All those things are extremely good. I didn't see any anger at all in most of the villages. Every once in a while we'd hit a bad one, but for the most part the kids were fantastic. We really enjoyed them. We would spend most of our time with them. I like helping people out that really need help, where they really are appreciative of the food you're giving them and the tea and the clothes. And that made me feel pretty good, actually helping people that desperately needed it. And they were very, very appreciative.
A lot of, in the military, and I'm sure my fellow service members will agree, there's a lot of funny stories, but probably my story that sticks out is when I was serving in Bagram. I was just getting ready to fly out of Bagram Airfield, and a couple of Americans with these big beards with tactical civilian attire, 5'11 pants, 5'11 shirt, came up and said, "Coast Guard, what are you guys doing in Afghanistan?" And for those that know Zach Wenzel, you know, Zach and I tend to make jokes. And I said to this bearded man, I said, "We are here for the new pool. We're the Coast Guard. We're the lifeguards for the pool in Bagram." And these bearded men looked at us and said, "We have a pool in Bagram." I'm like, "No, I'm just kidding." And if you know anything about these bearded guys, they're not, they don't take jokes well. So there was no pool in Bagram. We were just busting chops, and we all had a good laugh at the end of the day.
Talk to somebody who's already been in. A lot of the pointers, things may not be as they seem. Experience is the biggest teacher to teaching you what the military can actually do to meet your needs. Anybody that comes to me and asks me about it, one of the most important things I do is I sit them down and ask them, what do you like in life? Do you like indoors? Do you like outdoors? Do you like lots of activity? Do you like a little bit of activity? Do you like technology? Do you like to... you have to figure out what people really like, and then, because it's not really a job if you look forward to it every day and you can't wait to get there. And a lot of times what you have to understand is most organizations are nothing more. It's not a flag, it's not a symbol, it's the people that comprise the organization that make the organization and give it its character. And people fail to see that. You know, maybe you've heard things about Big Fork High School, but it's only a building. The building has not much to do with the interaction between people in the building. A lot of it's what you make of it. You gather together around you the people that are much like what you're looking for.
Mainly teamwork. You had to rely on one another to make sure that you went home at the end of the day. So, you know, if we had a mission or whatnot, we just knew that our training, all being on the same page, that we could count on one another, especially when the situation got bad. It also taught me a lot about combat medicine. So I was an emergency medical technician as part of the police department, but on the military side, medicine on the military side is way more advanced than on the civilian side, so that taught me a lot.
Perseverance. You don't have to be the smartest person or the strongest person or the most educated person, but if you have the perseverance and dedication and willingness to learn, you almost always end up in a very good position. I would say dedication, perseverance, a diligence, an ability to remain adaptable to the situations that you find yourself in. I think those are very good qualities in an individual, because if you won't stop and you're dedicated to doing the right thing, it'll all come out for you. See, some of the jobs I had, I was never trained for. This is what I talked about perseverance and caring all the time. I was working in the Pentagon, and I started to help a guy with a small project on the side of my other job. And he he said after a while, you're the most knowledgeable person in here on this because you actually are engaging and figuring it out and asking questions and getting involved, and we want you to come work for us.
Prior to enlisting in the military, I was a police officer in New Jersey assigned to a special services unit. We're handling primarily medical calls, and living in New Jersey, lived just 20 miles outside the World Trade Center. So when the World Trade Center, when that happened, and I went into work that night, we all knew, my squad, that we lost friends, family members, and so forth. So that sparked me to do something a little bit more, and that's when I decided to enlist.
My parents didn't have a lot of money, and so they came to me and said, if you want to go to college, probably the best thing you could do is go down to the recruiter and let the GI Bill pay for your college. So I did. I am a lifetime learner. I let them pay for the first 4 years, my first bachelor's degrees and associate's degree. And then I went on to get a master's degree at the University of Montana. Then the Army got me a master's degree in strategy in Pennsylvania. And then I ended up getting a PhD out of Colorado Tech down in Colorado Springs.